Today, we're diving into the making of a true New York legend.
You know, when you hear the words Upper East Side, a pretty specific image probably pops into your head. It's the famous Silk Stocking District, a place that just radiates elegance. It's where you'll find some of the world's most incredible museums, and it's the backdrop for everything from Breakfast at Tiffany's to Succession. It's, without a doubt, one of the most famous neighborhoods on the entire planet.
But here's the thing. This polished, glamorous world didn't just appear overnight. Nope. Before the gorgeous pre-war buildings and those stunning views of Central Park, this whole area was basically just farmland and a few country houses. So that brings us to the big question we're tackling today. How on earth did a bunch of fields become the legend we know today?
To answer that, we've got to go way back. We're going to look at how the land itself was transformed, from rural farmland to the world-famous Fifth Avenue.
Okay, so first, let's get our bearings. The neighborhood is kind of perfectly boxed in by some of Manhattan's biggest landmarks. You've got 59th Street on the south, 96th up north, the massive green space of Central Park to the west, and the East River on its eastern side. And believe me, this very specific geography ended up being a huge deal for its development.
And this quote from novelist Edith Wharton, it just perfectly captures the ambition of the time. I mean, she paints this picture of quarries, messy gardens, even goats looking over the scene. But you can feel this powerful belief, this absolute certainty that this rugged land was destined for something grand, for residences as stately as her own.
And that transformation happened in a few key stages. So, early 1800s, it's totally rural. Then boom, 1837, the railroad shows up, and things start moving. But the real game changer? The Gilded Age. You had these titans of industry, guys like Andrew Carnegie and Henry Clay Frick, who looked at the land facing the new Central Park and saw the ultimate status symbol. They started building these massive mansions, and that's what created Millionaire's Row on Fifth Avenue. Fast forward to the 1950s, and here's another key move. They tore down the noisy elevated trains on 2nd and 3rd Avenues. That just opened the floodgates for all the luxury high-rise apartments that you see so much of today.
So all of that building, all of that history, created this incredible architectural showcase that we can still see today. And here's something that's absolutely crucial to the story. So much of this architectural heritage is protected. The neighborhood has a bunch of historic districts, which are legally set up to preserve the character of the buildings. So that feeling you get when you're walking around like you've stepped back in time, that's not an accident. It's completely by design. And when you're there, you'll really notice two dominant styles of homes. First, you've got these magnificent single-family townhouses, a lot of them tucked away on quiet, tree-lined side streets. And then you have the grand pre-war apartment buildings, the ones famous for their stately fronts and elegant lobbies. Both have pretty much become symbols of New York luxury.
But hey, the Upper East Side isn't just about the amazing places people live. It's also, and this is no exaggeration, one of the most important cultural centers in the entire world.
Right at the heart of all that culture is the famous Museum Mile. And yeah, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like, a stretch of Fifth Avenue that has this absolutely mind-blowing collection of museums. It's honestly one of the densest concentrations of culture you can find anywhere on Earth.
Just take a look at this map. You can really get a sense of the scale of it. See how they're all lined up, one after the other, right there along the park? That is not a coincidence. A lot of these amazing places were built on the very same spots where those Gilded Age mansions we were just talking about used to stand.
Now, the undisputed anchor of Museum Mile is, of course, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Met. That iconic facade and its just sprawling collection make it so much more than a neighborhood landmark. It's a global destination.
But the Met is just the beginning. You've got the Guggenheim, that incredible spiraling wonder of a building. You've got the Cooper Hewitt, which is actually inside Andrew Carnegie's old mansion. How cool is that? Then there's the Frick Collection, which feels like stepping right back into that Gilded Age world. It is a truly unbelievable corridor of art and history.
Of course, life on the Upper East Side isn't just lived inside buildings. Let's talk about the parks and the promenades.
I mean, you just can't talk about the Upper East Side without talking about Central Park. It really is the neighborhood's gigantic front yard. From the running track around the reservoir to the beautiful conservatory garden, this green wonderland is just an essential part of the area's identity.
And beyond the park, the avenues themselves are destinations. Madison Avenue especially is a global capital for luxury shopping. Fashion's biggest names have their flagship stores there, and they've become just as famous as any of the museums.
So you take this unique mix of architecture, culture, and high-end living, and you get something that's more than just a place. It becomes an idea, an icon that's cemented in pop culture.
Seriously, think about it. Holly Golightly's townhouse, Blair Waldorf and her friends on the steps of the Met, the Roy family making power plays in their Fifth Avenue penthouses. These stories use the Upper East Side as a backdrop that instantly tells you you're in a world of aspiration, tradition, and a whole lot of drama. For decades, film and TV have both reflected and kind of shaped how we all see this neighborhood.
So from rural farmland to Millionaire's Row, from a cultural mecca to a pop culture icon, the Upper East Side was built layer by layer over nearly 2 centuries. It's a living museum of architecture and a world-class center for art. And all of that leaves us with one last thought. What story will these legendary streets tell next?